functions that has been placed so much responsibility as an agent of socialization is parenting. Parents are a focal point if we have to produce sustainable communities, as the Sustainable Development Goals 11 states that we have to produce sustainable communities which can be of very high essence for human continuity. Hello there, welcome to Love and Relationship on High Television Matters edition, which focuses on the family, focuses on relationship. Today, Tuesday, the 18th of March 2025, with me, Anyim Akomone. It's always a pleasure knowing that you're seated there waiting for this time when we come with a cream of fine minds to talk issues pertaining to our social life. With me in the studio are two wonderful gentlemen who are contributing their own quarters as parents, as guidance to ensuring that children are not just humans, but they are the continuity of the human race. Good evening, and let us welcome in the house senior man, as I call him, Mr. Nji Lucas, the founder of Rare Habit. I got it correctly.
That's right.
He is someone that you know. The echoes of his work and dedication to humanity is something that we must celebrate. Welcome on the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Akumane. It's a pleasure being here tonight. I think this should be the very first of my being here on the program.
And not the last.
I hope so. It's the very first of my being here. Yeah, and it's a pleasure. I think on the ethics of introduction, I'll reserve the introduction that is supposed to be done by you. Then I'll have to acknowledge the person.
Okay. So we equally have a face that you have been seeing for as far as this part of the program started some 4 weeks ago. It is no other person but our own Apostle A.E. Stanley of Faith Chapel International. He's a spiritual father, so we are going to be looking at him to tell us a lot about parenting in the church setting and the home. Two very vibrant aspects of socialization he is overseeing. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Madam Anyim, and thank you also for having me. Thank you.
Okay, so we kickstart the program today in joy as Mr. Nji will be setting the stage for us. We're looking at parenting as a tool of sustainable society, then focus on ideal practices. Take us and put us on a level platform.
Thank you. Parenting, you know, I'm passionate when it comes to parenting.
Okay.
This is because the cracks in the society is greatly from the home. And I think tonight I'm going to burst a lot of bubbles.
Okay.
Because whenever we talk about a child who is not well brought up and we say the home is the cause, there is always this kickback that what about a child whose parents have done all, yet you still find the child doing this and doing that.
Okay.
Tonight, I think it will be great for me to elaborate on what exactly it is when we talk about the home. And when you talk about the parents have done all, we want to, I'll be putting this into perspective so the viewers can clearly see. Now, why are we this passionate? Like you talk about love and relationship or family relationship, which is the overall title of your program. Now, this is because the foundation on which every nation stems from is the family.
The family.
And the family in this case, no matter your religion, so to say, the Creator has his perspective, which is the ideal and that which is given to mankind.
Okay.
Yes, I know today we have a lot of mixed up. We have a lot, of things that have been put together, concocted, that is now affecting that perspective God had wanted. I think since we have the apostle tonight, I'll permit him look at it from from that perspective,
Okay.
and I would look at it from the the
social perspective.
yes, the social perspective, what it is. Notwithstanding, also being a born again requires that I should at all times present who I believe in, Christ.
True.
And I know that no matter what you believe in, there is only one person that we are told is the creator of the heavens and the universe.
That's
That
true.
is God. So the family is key in the sense that if you want a society that's going to be very hostile,
Yeah.
you will get it from the family.
Wow.
Yes, if you want a very hostile society, you get it from the family. As a matter of fact, there are places in the world that actually grooms children to become a particular kind of people in the society. Which means if you groom your child to become a pastor, an apostle, a prophet, an engineer, it therefore means that your home can equally groom that child to become the president, the peacemaker,
Yeah.
the pace setter, and so on. So you cannot tell me that when we talk about the family, like I said, I will be looking at what does this mean? What exactly does it mean whenever someone says the outcome of the family is what you find in the child? There are several things you look at it, because the
Okay.
family stems from the home, the community, right down to the last point where the child is going to. Which means if a child leaves Moya, is going to Moliko, the home, the family is in every one of these areas.
Where
So
the child
depending on
goes
what
to.
they are going to put, the information they will put, then you either have the family involved or not involved. To get the mic, I'll go by what Paul said, that you should equally do what you are doing in my absence.
Okay.
That this good thing you are doing, also
Continue
do it
in
in my
absence.
absence.
Wow.
So how often do we tell our children this? It means a lot. Therefore, the man of God saw something and thought that, okay, let me recount this to you, that do this also in my absence. Like Jesus says that we should do it in remembrance of him.
Of him.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I wanted to call him Apostle already. Of course, he's a teacher, Mr. Nji Lucas, a very public face, and he's doing amazingly well. Thank you. Congratulations for
you,
the
ma'am.
input you're putting in to sensitize, especially the young people, towards their commitment and responsibility to the nation. Talking about responsibility, from what he was setting there, he's put the basket on the parents. So, what is parenting to you?
Parenting.
Or who is a parent?
Okay, parents are those who actually raise up children. I'll put it simple, those who
Okay.
raise up children. Because not everybody who has children can be called a parent.
My God.
Yes, not everybody that, because there are people who have children and have abandoned them, so we can't call them parents.
Parents.
And some other person can raise up that child, and that person can be considered best a parent to that child, and the person who put forth,
The
to put to
child.
bed the child.
Okay.
So which means a parent is someone who raises up children. It means your ability to raise up a child is what make you a parent.
That's what
So
it
parents are not just people who have children, but they are those who can raise up children. And so parenting is the ability to raise up children, to bring up children. It means bringing up children means we must have the right values invested in them, giving them the right life that they need, also putting them also to be good children and good resources in the society. So when we have the ability to raise up children that they have those values, actually you can be called a parent. And so parenting is not just limited to maybe the biological father or mother of the child, but someone. I've seen people who have given birth to children, but they are raised up by other people. And the children grow up to know those children, those people to be their parents. And they were well brought up too, and they had good values, and they also impacted or input in the society. So parenting is that ability to bring up or to raise up children. Yes.
Just like in the Quran, the aspect of nurturing, as well as in the Bible, is what crowns parenting. And now, staying with the Bible, one of the commandments that God gave us: honor your father and your mother, so that your days will be long on earth. So, what's the importance of parenting to the society? Take it from the church perspective.
All right, just like our brother said earlier, the family forms the foundation of the society. So, a moral society actually, let's say a godly family will always form the basis also of morality in the society.
Okay.
When the godly values are invested in the children, they will always also have good moral values in the society. So I'll always say morality actually is simply just the scriptures that have been taken and then taken off the quotations and then given to the society to follow.
Wow. Okay, you just take off the quotations
Yes, and give it to the society. Yeah. Because the society actually forbids stealing, and the Bible forbids stealing.
So they don't start saying that Exodus chapter this. You just
Yes. So parenting actually is very, very important, because God actually is the overall father of all, and the perspective by which God fathers His church is the perspective He wants us also to father the family as well, the children. And so the kind of love that God shows the church is the kind of love that God wants us to show. The kind of sympathy, empathy that He shows also the church is the kind of way He wants the parents also to. The discipline that God also gives the church is the discipline God also wants us to give the parents to give the children. The way God wants to raise the church also is the way He wants the family also to, the parents to raise the children. So which means Adam was created, and the first command that God gave him was to walk the earth, take care of it. That's parenting.
Okay.
From initial. So that's parenting. God gave the command that walk it, take care of it. And you discover that when families started coming up and God was, they were raising children, Adam having children, and they growing up, going to Abraham and saying, you see the role that parents played, even in the continuation of God's plan. If parents don't have a role, let's take for instance, in the case of Isaac and Jacob, the mother had a very great role to play to ensure that there's a continuation of the plan of God. It was prophesied, but the mother ensured that it was fulfilled. So which means if the mother failed in her responsibility, it would have caused disaster.
Yeah.
So which means families form a great role actually in parenting. The society actually is shaped by the values built in the family. The children spend most of their time with the family, and so what they learn in the family actually can reflect in the society. And so parents actually have a role to shape the children. When children go out there, it's true they can be influenced by so many factors and so many things, but a family with good principles, good rules actually can be able to shape these things, can be able to shape, even though we know there are parents who have done everything too.
Yeah.
So I believe we'll be looking at that subsequently as well.
That's right. And Mr. Njie is just bubbling. And tell us now, from the social perspective, what are some of those key components that, if you're talking parenting, we must focus on?
Okay. I'm glad the apostle rightly put it. This is it, Madam Akumene. Let me break it down.
Okay.
This is a child in the house whose parent says, "Don't pick up this pen on the table." And at the same time, the parents put on a TV channel or a program that says,
Pick up
that pen. Yeah, and you find the other person telling the child that the pen is yours. Now, you have told the child not to pick up the pen, but you have put on a channel that rather brings in toxics.
Conflicting.
So that the toxin you're bringing to you, it means nothing. What am I saying? There are parents who will tell their children to steal, it is not good. But at the same time, these parents will tell the same child, pick this thing, give it to me. And when your father, or it could be a mom or a dad, when any of the spouse come, tell he or she.
This table, please. I get it. So we can't parent if we are not children ourselves.
Yes. At the same time, you tell a child, no, you see, this money I've just given it to you, I never had it. But when your father comes or your mom comes, say, we got it somewhere and we have to return it. We see that always.
Yeah, it's very recurrent.
So now, what have you just done? There was an information you dropped in the head of the child, and you have removed the right information. And mind you, what is bad stays for long.
Okay.
Whenever a child gets a bad information, it stays for long.
It sticks.
Yeah.
It is always longer than you expected in the mind of the child. You know, so these are the things that most parents need to note. Now, within our society, it is very common for you to hear a parent say, I don't do all, and you know the worker. Let me say this, like I said, to break it down. If you go to the story of Jacob, the mom got the information. She understood based on the mantle she received.
Yeah.
This is what she did. She told the son, firstly, you are going to prepare like that of your brother. She was sustaining. Now, before Jacob left, she said, you are going to meet my brother. And to prove that the brother received Jacob, the brother in return ought to give a sign that, yes, I have your son with me. She did not send this boy to any other person. Jacob could have gotten married to any other person, because the prophecy to complete that which God had said entailed that Jacob should get married to the right one, so that they can produce that which God has said, and to go to the right one so that he will be taught to understand what God has said, how it is sustained and managed.
That covenant.
If you put it in your own religion, whatever, because the program is watched also by other people.
Of course.
If you put it in your own religion,
African tradition,
whether it's African traditional belief, you know, the way you see it, no religion tells a child to be stubborn.
True.
Wow.
And every religion tells a child to sit up.
To sit up.
Every religion wants to groom a child. So you realize that at the same time, I'm going to hold on the TV so much because it plays a lot.
Okay.
At the same time, you have just told the child that it is good to keep, you know, your chastity.
Uprightness.
You know, you have to stay off, because there are three things basically that gets children out of what we see. If a girl child starts having information with regards to a man, the things you will say, they will dilute them.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously. If your child starts taking alcohol,
True.
the things you will say, they will dilute them.
True.
If your boy child starts seeing a girl,
Yeah.
the things you will say, they will dilute them. Now, this is what happens with most homes that are what I call semi-Christian homes. Man of God, that's what I call them. Semi-Christian homes. They are semi in the sense that
40%.
great. Yes, because if you ask a question, are you a Christian? Yes. But if you sit them down to explain to them what God says, they'll get bored.
True.
Which is not supposed to be the case. And they will hardly share the scriptures with you.
With you.
Because in principle, every Christian, whatever religion you believe, there should be a moment that you share.
Yes.
You share the
You share your
verses,
thought.
your thought.
Definitely.
Peter shared with Paul, the others they shared, and so on.
Yeah, it should be
You have to do
reflected.
that. Yes. So you realize that you are the same person who told that child that having a girlfriend is evil. And at the same time, there is a movie where that same child is watching. And there is a conversation where that same child is getting an information contrary to that which you have told the child, and you are the one exposing the child to it.
Sorry.
So you realize that you are the problem.
Yeah.
You are the problem. That's where he's driving us to, all along from
Is
Boye
that
to
you are the
Bomenda.
problem.
So people who become parents, we start from there.
Yes.
You're starting
Yes.
from there. And so, what does it entail? What is it to be a parent?
Summarily, like he said, it is to groom. And to groom, he said, you have to groom God, man, family. That's what the apostle said. God, man, family. God has given unto us the way we should
The way we
live.
should, yes.
So we now have to take it down to the children.
So I think what you're saying is a connecting problem from God to the children.
children.
The people in the middle.
Interestingly, God does not go to the children. You go to the children as a
Good.
parent.
Wow.
Definitely.
God does not, because
No, God does
He will
not.
never go to them. Yes,
God doesn't go
sends you.
to. He doesn't go to children to train them. You train them.
He says,
Yeah.
bring
That
the
is
children unto me.
He fathers you, and then you fathers the children.
If-
Now he says, train up a child the way he
He
should
should
grow,
grow.
so that when he grows,
He
he
will
should
not
not depart
depart.
from it.
True.
So, do we now say that God would say what does not come to pass? No. It means if you train, he will not go out of it.
Definitely.
Let me tell you, Isaac was trained.
True.
Yeah.
He didn't go out of it.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Jacob was trained. I'm looking at the patriarch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joseph was trained.
Yeah.
And if you observed, Joseph did not go out of it.
Okay.
That is why the morals that Joseph was raised with, despite the betrayal he got from his peers or his siblings, Jacob still did not drop these values.
Okay.
He held them because he was heading somewhere.
That's true.
It was communicated. Take note, I've always been saying this. Evil spirits do not know our thought and intent.
Yeah.
They only get to know when we see them.
We say them.
So when you as a parent, you want to train your child right, and you go somewhere and indulge into what is wrong, the evil spirit that is in charge with communication and information simply picks it
Picks
and
it.
communicates it.
And communicates it. And like it is said, the media is an agent of socialization and culturing takes place. You're on to High Television, and it is the love and relationship version of matters with me, Anyu Akomone. We have been having discussions with two amazing men, and we want to spice it up for you. The Bible says it's not good for a man to be alone, even on a panel like this. And that's why we have the amazing mom in the house, Madam Joan Tambeline, who has just joined us. Good evening and welcome, Ma.
Thank you so much, Annie.
Yeah.
Thank you to our great gentlemen on the panel. Thank you so much, our televiewers, for having me.
We are so pleased to have you come and add the variety and spice to the program as a powerful woman yourself and mother, not just to your biological kids. And as the apostle said, parenting is all about nurturing. We're talking parenting today. Okay, so get into the boat with us. Parenting. What are some of the most important things to consider?
For me, I think that the most important thing, I want to talk about thing and things,
Okay.
to consider is that we should understand as parents that the parenting now is not the parenting of yesterday.
Okay.
The parenting of the 21st century is not the same parenting that our parents had when they were bringing us up. So we should consider the environment where we are now living, the time in which we are living, and probably everything that has to do with where we are living.
Okay.
Parenting now is much more challenging than it was
All right.
in the days of old. Today, there are a lot of things to consider. We have the social media, which is it's not only social media, but it is social medializing in our head.
Okay.
Yes.
Seeking
Yes, it's in our heads.
information.
Us, the
with
parents,
Mm-hmm.
the as mothers, as fathers, and even as children, the whole social media setup is on its own and even in our heads. We have to get this, we know that that's how it is. If there is anything as a parent you want your child to know, tell that child yourself.
Okay.
Do not allow other people to tell your children what you can tell them. And there is no way, we should not deceive ourselves. We are parents. There are things that whether you tell the children or you don't tell them, they will still know. So it's better for you to tell them yourselves. Because if another person tell them, they will tell them in a negative way and it will deform your children. So as a parent, make sure, enable, I know it's not easy, make sure, do everything that you can do to make sure that your parents know certain things from you. Tell them. At times, there are too much noise. Too much. Our environment now is so noisy. Internal noise and external noise.
It's a market.
Yes, it's a market space in our minds. So we should make sure that the things that they are supposed to know in the right way, we should make sure they get them, and they get them in the right way. And everything that you think is right for your child to know, tell them. And even as you tell them, don't think that you are the only one telling them. Other people and other spaces are telling them. But there is a parent information that gets into a child, which makes the child never to forget that. I've heard this, I've heard that, but my mother told me.
My mom.
Yes, every child should be able to remember the mother's voice. So you should not close your own mother's voice.
Okay. Don't close your mother's voice. That's coming from a mother. Concurring to what the two gentlemen have been talking about, that there's a lot of responsibility on the parents. And now, Ma was saying something. You tell them. And we have situations with children of 16 having children already. How do we come out of this? How do we help? What is the danger? Let me put it that way. Because you must be informed to tell.
Yes.
You must be told to tell. Now we have children who have not built their mental capacity, their emotional intelligence, and they're becoming parents. So what are some of the challenges to society that we can have from this?
You know, the society that we build actually starts from the family, because failing to actually invest in the children actually is failing to build the tomorrow or the tomorrow society. So the world that we want to build today is dependent on the investment we invest in the children now. Okay. And so today we are handling problems that actually would not have been handled now if we had actually given good parenting to children in the past. Okay. And so it has to do with the systems in place. But going back to the family where we are focusing, you discover that some families are there that even the parents themselves also don't even know what they are supposed to do. So some of them are not educated, they are not sensitized. Imagine you can't give the values that you don't have. It's just like the disciples when they found out that Peter, John, and the other disciples were ordinary, unschooled men, and they were amazed at how they display so much wisdom, but they found out one thing: they had been with Jesus. It means when you stay with somebody, the values the person carry are reflected on you. So children growing up with you should be able to reflect what you have in you as well. So most parents actually are not, they were not also well parented, and so it becomes difficult also to give. So it becomes difficult also to give the children also those values. So which means it's dangerous in our society today, because we can be trying to. I've seen situations in societies where we are trying to put values in children where parents themselves are fighting those values because they themselves don't have it. So it's like you're trying to tell a child that please don't be stubborn, and the parent is telling you please don't control my child.
Okay.
Today, in today's world, let's say if you are not the biological parent of somebody, see somebody dressing indecent, you cannot tell that child that please don't dress indecent. The way we grew up, my dad actually considered every child a child. My child, really put it that way. It means the same discipline he gives his children, the same he can give to any other child he meets on the street. If he meets you on the street trying to destroy someone's property, even though you are not his own biological child, he will discipline as well as the way he will discipline his own child. So in the same way, it means, and people will not actually, in those days, people don't see it to be a problem. But today, if you try to discipline another person's child, it will be a problem. And so because of this, it makes it so difficult for people to be, for children to be well parented, to give the right parenting to children. And so it poses a lot of danger because there are conflicting views, conflicting ideas. The same parents actually, they don't agree. And so a parent will say, I have my own way I want to raise up my children. And so if we can't come to the place where we agree on those values as well, even the society itself actually will not be shaped and will not nurtured rightly.
Wow, many amazing things you're bringing out there. And what I'm picking, which ties with one of my questions here, is the place of mentorship for parents to parent.
Yes.
Am I getting it correctly?
Yeah.
The place of mentorship for parents to parents, because sometimes we're so busy. Sometimes even our hobbies is just football. You meet a man watching football from Monday to Sunday, no reading, nothing, and he's a parent. So what's the place of mentorship in parenting?
Yeah, you know, today in Africa, the average Cameroonian finds it very difficult to parent a child in the sense that he wants to parent a child like an American, like a European, and an African. And when you come to Africa, he wants to parent the child like a pagan and like an African traditional believer and like a Christian.
It's just a noisy environment for the child.
Why in Europe the parents their children with regards to their guiding rules,
Yeah.
and we are struggling to be like them. Apostle said something. It's like you cannot give what you never had.
Yes.
You're trying to parent a child whereas you were not well parented.
Yes.
And this is one of the biggest problems today in Cameroon. You know, we have to look at it from the way the quarters are.
Yes.
Ask yourself this question. Why do we have so many schools, yet the level of moral decadence and juvenile delinquency is on a rise? Why is it rising?
Why?
It is rising in simple terms. It is rising because, one, I want you to be like me, and I forget the way I have to be. Let me give you a short case, a very short case study. I met a young woman who has, I don't have anything with that. I know it's the way you want it to be, okay? Tinted hair. And then I saw her, she wants to dress like the Gen Zs. Okay. Now you realize that morality in the mind of that child will be very difficult to appropriate.
That's true.
It will be very difficult.
True.
Decency will be very difficult.
Difficult. True.
What is happening? Like Sister said, the social media is now socializing in her heads. She has seen it on TikTok. She has watched it on Facebook.
Okay.
She saw it in that Filipino movie. The way that girl responded to the husband or the fiancé. And she wants to put it here.
The same way.
The same way. But anthropologically, it is not the same.
Yeah.
Sociologically, it is not the same. So how do you place this now for it to fit? It is impossible. So the mentorship, you should focus on the relationship that you have within your society. When you move to the US, enculturation or acculturation could take place.
That's true.
But why in Cameroon, I know for certain that though being an active member of the civil society and a human rights defender, the African Charter on the Rights and the Welfare of the African Child is different from the Universal Declaration of the Rights of the Child.
Okay.
That's the CRC.
Wow.
And if you go to the right of the child in the United States, it has some difference as compared to the right of the child in the EU.
Okay.
So why our human rights law in Africa says children have duties or responsibilities, so to say, responsibilities. Therefore, in African human rights, it is expected that I should wash plate.
Yes.
Why in the United States, it is stated that the child is not the one to wash plates.
Okay.
He does it if he wants.
Okay.
You know, so these are the difference.
Difference.
So you want to obtain lesson from a mentor. You could probably be studying a book that is centered on the way Europeans raise their children.
Okay.
Whereas you are not within the European society.
System.
The
Yes, the
context
setup,
should
yes.
be there.
So you have to rather look at what other African literary scholars have written
That's true.
with regards to that, with that from the creator being the supreme.
Supreme.
So rather I will look at what the Bible says, and I will look at maybe there was some other breakdown that another African has written as concerning child upbringing. Because most of the information we have out there with regards to raising up kids, they are westernized.
Yes.
They are westernized.
And because they are westernized, it is very difficult to put it. And that is why today, you know, at one point, there are parents who they'll take the time to say, "It don't big, it dey form 5. You are right GCE, it need phone." Booby trap. Booby trap. The mental fortitude of that child is not yet there
True.
to decipher the agenda on that particular media.
True.
That's true. The exposure is
The
The
big.
mental
is
fortitude
too much.
is not yet there
True.
because there is an agenda. Some of us knows how to set agenda, so we know what it means.
So we recognize the pointers of agendas. Okay, we'll come to you again.
Yeah.
But now let's take on Mama. Ma, what are some of the ideal practices for family routines that can promote sustainability? Because we're looking at the family as the core. If we have to identify morally upright citizens, then we start picking them from the different families. And so, what are some of those routines that family can implement to bring about this?
Thank you so much, Madam Iya. I think that family routines vary according to their values.
Yeah.
Some families will know that it is okay for them to get up in the morning and don't pray. And it's okay. Maybe in their family, maybe they go and gather somewhere and burn some idols. And burn some things they believe that is what is giving them strength. Other families will believe that before they go to sleep, they should gather all the children and pray. Some would think that for a child to jump over the window and come back in the morning is still fine.
My God.
So it all depends on the different values which you place on your families. But then, if you ask me to advise a family, I'll tell them that let's go according to the values of the Most High God,
Yes.
according to God. So, for me, those values that parents are supposed to put up for the world to be better, for our communities to be better, our nations to be better, is that we will train them. The Bible says that train up a child in the way that when that child will grow up, he will not depart from it. So the things that you know that are not right for a girl to do, start training your little daughter not to do those things. You as a parent, on Christmas Day, you will not shave your child and put 10 lines and put the road that leads to Bachakagbe and put the road that leads to wherever your village is going to. Once you start teaching them how to put those funny lines on their head,
And you're saying it's
they will
true,
grow up.
it's true.
Yes, they'll definitely grow up to be like that. You as a parent, on Christmas Day or Christmas week or season, you will not buy things that are very short, and maybe you even dress your children half naked. Definitely your children will grow up knowing that dressing half naked is okay.
Mommy's voice, remember?
Yes, mommy's voice. So they will grow up to know that my mother has been dressing me like this. I am not saying that some parents have not grown up in those kind of homes and they grow up to be good daughters. Some will meet with probably a mentor, a man of God, a place of worship, or wherever, and they'll be changed. But what comes out from the home is difficult to change. So we should be very careful with what we trained from the home. The home is a training center. It's a center where the values where the child grows up with comes from the home. So we should try as much as possible as parents to be able to train up children in a way that they will not depart from it in future. For example, I know of girls who left some villages. They left Bamenda, they left Manfe, and when they came to the University of Buea, they changed completely. They transformed.
Metamorphosis.
Yes, they metamorphosed. So you can even meet children that you knew them
And
back in the town where people
yes.
grew up. You will not recognize them. They don't change.
Some hide their faces.
Yes, some maybe hide their faces. There are parents who come to Buea and see where their children are living, and they ask if this is my daughter's room, because they know they cannot afford. But there are also children who have come into this town that people think that is the worst in Africa, who have come here and nothing has changed.
Yes.
True.
They maintain the values because of the secretness of the values that they came
Put them.
from home with.
That's true.
They have not changed. Nothing has changed. They have come to study and they are looking up to their studies. But some have derailed. But then, we as parents, man of God was talking about, before I come there is this book which talks about the rights and wrongs of child upbringing by Dr. Mrs. Beatrice Tembi. Because most at times, we want to look at these foreign books, we want to look at foreign authors, but let's look at books which have been written by people from our own area, people who have the same values like we do. So this kind of books, I want to encourage each and every parent to have this book. I don't really know if they are out of copy or not, but I think they should be around the Revival Gospel Center like that. I've read this book, and I want to assure you that this book is something that every parent should have. I want to talk a little bit, Madam Iya, if you permit me, about the issue of children having children. Because at 16, you are still a child. Having a child is a child, so they're like child born child. Now, most at times it is not the will of parents. It's not the parents doing. But I want to a little bit blame the parents, a little bit, because we are the ones that are supposed to tell the children. Most of those children having those children did not even know that when they have intercourse with a man, they'll be pregnant.
That's true.
Some did not even know. Some even, I don't want to deviate a little bit. I want you to permit me to deviate a little bit from the topic. Most of those children are even sexually harassed in the family milieu.
That's true.
If we start talking about now, we'll not finish. We'll start talking about it because
now it's difficult of parents because we must put our eyes on the
that is an
people
area
inviting to our home.
Yes, that is an area where I am so much bitter about it, and I'm working on it. I'm doing a lot of research about it. We are living in a crisis period, a crisis zone, where it is very common to find a family with 10 members, with 15 members in the house. But then, if you know that you are a kind of parent who is not always there, you are always walking out of home like me. I don't bring male children to my house. I'm sorry about that. Yes, I'm not, because my work schedule is very tight. Most parents bring people into their houses thinking that they're family members.
Yes.
But before you want to blink your eye, no, you're 14 years old girl, 15, 16 is pregnant by a family member. This is outrageous. This is instead scattering families. Yeah. I've seen families where they can no longer look at each other. They can no longer talk as family because my brother's son impregnated my daughter. And because I'm a Christian mother, I may not want to abort, I may not want to, but there are things that can never bring peace to a family. Yeah. So as parenting, we should understand that the chemistry between a man and a woman does not fear family lineage.
Okay.
So please, we should be able to look into that.
Now you want to be part of the conversation, write us on 680-368722. Let's take on this break, and when we come back, it's going to be more from this end.
T'imagines t'attendais, ouais. T'imagines handolo. Ndimbia mongo tombia mwami. Masontanele matiti, nyinde kalambo. Tibodi mesenandole dangwe. Japotonete bunyate, esimala handolo. Utopite wona kwa la beba bibulu basu desima bula bisopunda aye esimende wala andolo esimende wala ça ne va pas marcher. Tout ce pourquoi nous avons œuvré, c'était pour être ensemble, mais c'est quasi impossible. Coucou, et si malade, ton adieu c'est des body non. Starfish Entertainment.
Rapping them on the beat.
Yeah, na 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 na. Alili, alili, mon amour, alili.
Ça va.
Trop d'égo sont jaloux, j'ai l'homme qu'il faut. They just wouldn't know, baby, I love you so. Cause when I fall down, my love, you lift me up. Baby, you're the love of my life, oh. Tu décideras jamais. Je peux mourir pour toi, tu décideras jamais. Allez, mon amour, allez, allez. Que quoi qu'il arrive, tu resteras mon bébé. Mon bébé, bébé, bébé. Que quoi qu'il arrive, tu resteras mon bébé. Mon bébé, bébé, bébé. Ils ont voulu nous séparer, chercher à nous garder. Oh, les sorciers, laissez-nous respirer. You ain't the talk, pari, paro, para, pare. Stop, cause my baby did for me. Tu décideras jamais. Je peux mourir pour toi. Tu décideras jamais. Allez, mon amour, allez, allez. Que quoi qu'il arrive, tu resteras mon bébé. Mon bébé, bébé, bébé. Que quoi qu'il arrive, tu resteras mon bébé. Mon bébé, bébé, bébé. Don't I see you, my baby? Let me love you. Ti amor. Let me love. Allez, mon amour, allez, 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 allez. Que quoi qu'il arrive, tu resteras mon bébé. Mon bébé, bébé, bébé. Que quoi qu'il arrive, tu resteras mon bébé. Mon bébé, bébé, bébé.
Ah, ça va.
Que quoi qu'il arrive, tu resteras mon bébé. Mon bébé, bébé, bébé.
Hey, Mr. K-Mix.
Welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're not late. We still have an hour to be together in the company of Apostle A.E. Stanley, Mr. Nji Lucas, and Man Tambelin Juan. And it's all about parenting, looking at it as a tool for sustainable communities or sustainable humanity. What are the ID practices? And we go to the part 2 of the program, ID practices. Now, I start with you, Mr. Nji. What are some of those things that we can scan on or put it out there that if we are looking at by chance, by investment, by spiritual investment, emotional investment, these are some of the things that parents can be guided with to have children and they can meet in the future as sane children in this time of environmental hostilities.
Firstly, you have to be intentional. If you are yet to become a parent or yet to be a parent, why do you want to be a parent?
Why?
Yes, you must answer. When you answer the question why you want to be a parent, then you will know exactly what you have to do. Before you go to answer that question, I will give it to you as per scripture. Jesus says we should come in and plenish. We should multiply. So whenever you think of becoming a parent, you are thinking of doing the multiplication Jesus talked about. So the next thing you need to ask yourself is, how has Jesus commanded, or what is Jesus saying with regards to how I have to raise the child? You go back to the Bible again, you will see where he says, don't tell a child not to be insultive, and you are insultive.
Okay.
Don't tell a child not to steal, and you tell the child, "Dear Papa, money wey don't give me so." When he can ask her, talk so. Yes.
Training on training.
You are
Yes.
great. And remember, like she said, the Bible talks about training. You have to ask yourself a question: who is a trainer? A trainer is not a teacher.
Okay.
A trainer, to be a trainer, it encompasses being a teacher.
Yes.
A trainer is involved in the action.
Okay.
Yes.
Transformational
Leading by
leader.
example.
A teacher simply gives you instruction.
Yes.
Instructional.
So you have to be involved. If you tell a child that taking alcohol is not good, don't be the one to send that child to take alcohol
To buy
To
it.
buy it for you.
or to buy it. I went to, I think it should be Bali. No, it's not Bali. Where we have the higher teacher training college, Bambili.
Family. Yes.
I met the youth president within that community. There is something he told me. Till date, it's still so fresh in my head. If we see picking for year, we come off or go buy cigar and mimbo. Cigar, we take and broke am. Then he back me pay fine. Mimbo, we dey take and drink. Then call me can pay fine. Then if we see picking, this is how he put it. If we see picking where one go now for go buy, I will take the money there, call it back, they pay fine. If na mimbo would seize the money, back pay fine. What does this mean? They don't want to introduce children into alcohol when they are still tender.
Tender.
That's true. We cannot control it.
They don't want you to introduce them into cigarette smoking when they are still tender. So don't tell a child, you would not ask a child to buy the cigarette, and when you're now blowing the smoke, you tell the child, "No, ever smoke when you grow up." I think that's madness.
That's
Well,
my.
you
I
know
just
it's
come in. I just come in before you continue with this short tale. In my master's program, we're carrying out a qualitative research, and I was shocked when I went on a one-on-one for about a 30-minute interview with this guy who apparently was finished. And I asked, "How did you get into this?" Since it was a study,
Yeah.
so we needed to go through their journey. He said one day he was just moving, and the mom had sent him. He saw somebody smoking. The way the person made an image with the smoke, he was attracted. So every day he wanted to produce that image.
That's it. You know, I grew up in my 16.
That's how bad and hostile the society can be.
I grew up
Environment.
I grew up in my 16. And when you know your environment, communicate it to your children.
Okay.
Some of us were fortunate.
Communicate it, speak that, I like it.
Good.
And how do you do
There
that?
is this is what you do. Noah Jones, you know, you have to become the best of yourself.
Okay.
And you see this quarter, we have children who do this and who do that. So when you're stepping out, this is the way you have to walk.
Wow.
And when they provoke you, become the foolish person. I sat them down yesterday. I told them that in my entire life as I grew up in my 16, no one can point a finger that I ever fought or insulted somebody. I adopted it.
Okay.
I never fought or insulted somebody. No elder.
But you lived in a place where people were fighting every
Fighting
day.
every
and
day.
insulting each other
Every day.
Wow.
I'm a testament to it.
Yes.
Amen.
Because there is this thing one elder person told me. My elder sister had given me money to eat in the morning. I went to a restaurant, an eatery, Buni, as we called him in those days. This elder man came in, the first thing he did was a knock on my head. Who's like, come on, money for catch up for the play? Who tells you small picking the catch up for here? Yes. Until date, I met this guy one day and I told him, "You be doing me some fine thing, Grand Frère." Because the first thing he did was he made me to know that when una thief money for a house, una they can't chop for road. When una deny for house, una they can't chop for road because una feel una don't get money. So even their money will work and no one sue you for year. That's what he said.
Wow.
So you see that the society could be positive and negative. So you have to communicate it.
Yeah,
You go just go to try you every day now.
And it would have led because you would have built something in you negative.
So you see that when you communicate to your child about the society, they will understand and
I
find.
like this. I'm taking this with me. Communicate about the society to your
They
child.
will understand and find
the realities.
Yes.
And I also like to add something to this. While you are communicating it to the child about the environment in which you people are living, you should not relent any effort of discipline.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually, my son,
Yes.
I told him never to trek from Lycée to my 16. And each time I give him money, he will join the others and trek because a group of people, yes, they are trekking. So he too was trekking with them. I warned him the first time, I gave you enough money. I'm not giving you small money, I'm giving you enough. That money that I'm giving you in one day is money that they were giving me for 1 week.
Yeah.
I give you enough money, you have enough money to eat. I prepare your lunch box, you go with it. I still give you money to eat in school and everything. When you correct a child once, twice, thrice,
Discipline.
we are Africans.
You discipline.
Let me look into the camera and
There's
tell
a
you
small
this.
animal in us.
Yes. Let me look right into the camera and tell you this, dear parents. When you tell your child something once, twice, thrice, the child is not hearing, please beat.
True.
Please beat. Punishment is meant to correct a child and not to kill a child. I've not said that you should go and take Motapizulo. I said beat the child. You see us African children, sometimes they don't have beating the work for our skin.
Okay.
People like us, they beat us. And if they did not beat me like that, I've done different thing.
Okay.
You see, there are some children who doesn't hear place. They don't hear word. All word, me, I was stubborn, but I was so much afraid of a cane. When you bring, once the cane shows off, I take order. Yes, so there are some children that you need to beat them. If your own child is like that, please beat, so that we can correct. Do not spare the rod and spoil the child.
This is what we call
Yes.
knowing the disposition of your child.
Yes,
It is imperative.
very imperative.
Because it is, they grow up, they are all your children, but they are relative in what scares them. You should be afraid, a child needs to be afraid of something.
Something. And you should know what the child is
Maybe
afraid
the
of.
father.
Good.
True.
Good.
Some are afraid of their mother.
Yes.
Some are not afraid of both father or mother, but
But
they are
there is-
afraid of the
of the
king.
king.
There is something.
King.
Something.
Let me just add this. I have a son. My first child is a son, and so each time he wants to maybe hesitate, we'll pick up the phone. So we're calling your teacher. He
Okay.
start panicking. So we understand that he's afraid of the
the
teacher.
teacher,
And so when you pick up the phone, so we want to call your teacher, he start panicking. And then in addition to what Madam Tambelina has been saying, there are 4 parenting styles. We have what we call the democratic parenting style. We have the authoritative parenting style. We have the permissive, and then we have the uninvolved parenting style.
That one now.
Yes. Yes. I attended the seminar and they taught us that.
Okay.
So in the democratic parenting style is the one in which actually you place high value on educating your children and also being involved also in maybe putting warmth in them. In that way, you don't just discipline them, but you discipline them, put strict values, but at the same time you bring them close
And you
and
just
also
see
nurture
yourself.
them.
Yes.
Because some parents are they can discipline a child. That's authoritative, and then
send
send the
the
child away. But others in the democratic, you try to discipline the child, but you bring the child
Child
close
closer.
to you to the extent that the child will not feel like running away. There are children that when they commit crimes, they can go and kill themselves because they know that if they come close, the parents can kill them.
So you
But I'm
need
not
to-
yes. So you
let
need to
them
know.
better kill themselves alone.
So good.
If I
So you need
catch
to know how to.
If I catch you,
So you need to have to nurture a child in a way that the child should feel safe even when the child has made a mistake to come
Yes.
and complain to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Because some of them, when they make errors actually, and then they feel that they are not safer to come and confide
They run
in
and
you,
go to grandma.
they'll run and go somewhere, and it can be dangerous where they'll
Yes.
go
Right.
to. And then some parents are actually maybe permissive, just like allow the child actually to do whatever the child wants to do. It's really
What is passing
dangerous.
the child
Yes,
one
what is
for?
good.
Kanda is
So
passing the child one.
that is
Yahoo
it.
is passing the child one.
And that is
Everything
it.
I
So it's
keep
very,
giving.
yeah, it's very
And you're
dangerous.
building a hunger
Yes.
in the child
When
for
you
the
will not
things
be
of
there,
the world.
the
Yeah.
child will steal that thing.
True.
You're building a hunger.
And
for
like he
things.
said, to add to what he said, you know, this democratic parenting style deals more with positive parenting.
Yes.
Where Peter, that pot will be transferred down, that soup don't throw, no if you chop now because you be throwing that pot. You know, you made the child to understand that
The repercussions.
why there is another child in the house who doesn't need that perspective. You need to pull the child and you take other hard measures.
Africa.
Because there is a possibility that the way you handle that situation, this other child may neglect it.
Yes.
Children sometimes
Yeah,
are
we're
very
talking about
neglectful.
continuity and
Yes.
building of new seeds.
They are relatively very neglectful. They can neglect this.
Yes.
And you may want to think that no, it is because they are ignorant, they don't know. No, don't forget. We are told that children are not born without any information in their head.
Okay.
It was demonstrated by John the Baptist when he heard the good news of the coming of Christ.
Christ, yes.
He leaped. That is to tell you that there is something in his head,
In the womb.
in the womb. So you don't expect a child who is born. I always tell parents, the same measure of God's spirit in you is the same measure in a child. The difference is that the child cannot communicate like you, but be rest assured he listens to all language.
Yes.
So if you tell a child you fool, thinking that the child is no, he don't hear him.
Yeah.
Your big head, he don't hear him. I mean, at that
Yes.
that's still that level, he don't hear him. So be careful what you say, because children at that age listen to all language, which is why any language that they meet at a certain stage, that is a language they'll pick.
True.
Because
And it will bear fruits for a time until you plan new ones.
if you want to write your own new word or new language, if you care, give birth to a child and say baba means pick up this thing, ta means hold this
Yes,
pen.
yes,
That
yes.
child will
Child
grow
will
up
grow
with
up
that.
with
Say
Yes,
ba, ba,
yes.
ba, ba, ta, ta.
That is what they'll grow up
Of
with,
course.
and they'll practice it.
Okay.
So be careful how you go about it.
Now, we're going to talk about challenges, but I want to focus on this first with you, Pastor. It's part of the challenges. I was speaking with some people and they said that there's a lot of tension in homes. Parents fighting, the lives of the parents. Us as parents, we don't have a life that can produce that conducive environment for childbearing. If the fathers not knowing what to do, or mothers blaming fathers, you say you're wicked like your father's own, you're always as stubborn as so how contributing are these and how can we come out of them?
Oh, this is really a very powerful one, because it really influences the children. Children actually would copy what they see their parents doing.
True.
And mostly the male children can tend to be violent if they grow up in a violent home. If the father was violent, they think that is the ideal way of treating even their wives when they get married. And girl children would tend to disrespect their husband when they get married if actually their mother was disrespecting the father. So what we do at the home, it really matters in bringing up our children. I often say that when parents have disagreement, they must not show it to the children that they have a disagreement. Not that they don't disagree, because every home must have some disagreement. So there is a place where you settle your disagreement. You must settle your disagreement, maybe in the room, your bedroom, where children are not there to see your disagreement. And sometimes also you can hold their words that I don't speak in the presence of children. Yes, their words you don't mention them in the presence of children, because when you mention them, you even in your presence you hear them repeat those words.
Yes.
You hear them repeat the
So
words.
we need a lot of discipline,
Yes.
discipline as parents.
Yes, a lot of discipline. You can be angry, but you don't voice anything because you are afraid of what the child will do. The child can pick
The
up that
effect,
word.
if we are
the
conscious
effect on
of
the children.
effect.
And don't forget,
Yes.
to add to what he said, we have parents who live in a single room.
Yes.
Now, of course, you may want to ask some are bedroom then for outside. hold a hand.
Take it outside. Go somewhere.
You are in control of yourself.
That's it.
Manage it.
That's it.
Let me tell you, in the world, we know that poverty is a cause of violence at home.
That's true.
But that is not an excuse with God. So how do you answer this to God?
80%
Yeah,
of
true.
violence.
How do you answer this? The
So
Bible-
yeah, it's a problem. We have a lot of people in that reality.
Yes.
Yeah,
They are angry. Some mothers have spent 10 years, 12 years. They've not been able to live their own dreams with the echoes of purpose, education.
The first thing I said is, when you think of having a child, think about why.
Why? Now, if you've already had the child or the children,
Now that you already have the child and there are these difficulties, let me put it the way the state of Cameroon. We are in a state because as we take it to this level, we move it to the other level.
Okay.
We have to know that we still have the state. See, there are offices. Did you know that if you have difficulty as a man and you go to women empowerment and the family, they don't only guide women, because in the family, if you protect or guide only the woman in that family, where have you kept the man? There have to be balanced diet.
that's true.
And that is why there are times that women's empowerment and the family, they call it women's empowerment and the family.
family.
There could be priority to women,
Women, yes.
because most of what they will propose will be for women,
Women.
but they are equally there for the family. Take out some time.
Okay.
Go there. There are people who go to women empowerment and the family and say, okay, if this family come for you where they get the kind of problem, where they get the kind of difficulty, if you contact with,
Oh, wow.
there are families like that. A couple came to me, with their complaint. Then, when I explained to them what they ought to have done, they ask questions. They say, oh, why will not be even know the thing ever since? The same woman who wanted that the husband should be locked up, now be there the first one for start thank me, beg me.
Wow.
Say me they not lock him, sir. Because yes, because it was obvious. Say otherwise. Now, since the law provides for that, you can take other measures.
Yeah.
I just bring in other measure, then call the guy to order, and then they left. It there for my phone. Then he thank me almost every day. Thank you. Because they never had the right information when they had their problem.
The right information matters.
When they had their problem. So if you were that lady and you had a dream and you have a child, ma tell you, ma talk, and because majority of them will understand this language too. That dream you had with the child that you now have.
Half and half.
Yes. You go take that your dream first. You put them. Then you look at parenting. Why you go feel achieve your dream? Then you be a bad parent. Then when you grow old, who will take care of you?
Who will take care of you? A very huge question there, and it reflects some of us our realities. I remember that I had to spend 9 years before finally deciding that I had to work, and even in working, I've had a lot of restrictions to opportunities or what is presented to me as opportunity. And I come to you, ma'am, still in the vein of challenges, how can parents balance the demands of modern life with the need to teach children sustainable practices at home? The demands of modern life.
The demands of modern life, parents should understand that these demands have come to stay and they will keep increasing.
My God, oh.
So they should know, if yesterday we had a typewriter, today we have a computer, we have smartphones. As the world is evolving, many things are coming up. Parents need to stick to the values.
Stick to the value.
Yes, stick to the values. Let your child understand. May I tell my daughter, let your child understand that there are things that she cannot have at this level.
Okay.
Children should understand that it's not everything that you see that you must have. Make a clear demarcation or differentiation about your wants and your needs. Because now children don't know the difference between their wants and their needs. everything that they see they want.
They want it.
Everything that they see they want.
I
Some
want-
even want things that they don't need.
They don't need. I want.
Yes, I want this.
I
I want this. My daughter will come, Mama, I want that. I say, what do you want to do with it? Do you need this? Do you really need it? If you need it, tell me what you want to do with it. So we should let our children understand the differences between their wants and their needs. And we should make them to understand that most of the people who we have those things that they see, because they see them on their friends. They see that I want this,
Comparison.
I want naked wolf. My daughter came that she should buy a naked wolf shoe. I said, what's the difference between normal shoe and naked wolf shoe? So the shoe should just have the trademark of a naked wolf. So there are things that they really want that is not actually what they need. You really already have a lot of shoes. What is it about that small dog beside that shoe that they are calling it as a naked wolf? What is it? What is it? Maybe it is a mark of something you don't even know.
That's true.
We should explain those things to the children, because when they
The symbols.
the symbols, the brands,
Yes.
they go for it without even understanding. So we should stick to the values. We should explain to children. There are so many children who are putting on waistbands. How do they call it?
Yeah, those wristbands.
This-
The
yes.
beads.
The beats. They wear it, they don't even know the implication of it.
Even
Some
the
they
feet,
both
the
they
legs.
don't know the implication.
Yeah.
They don't know the implications. So we should stick to the values. We should let children know that as the world is evolving, they will see even things that are even more than what they are seeing. But then you, as this particular child, as a child in this family, make a difference.
As a child in this family, make a
Make a
difference.
difference.
And I stick with you. One of the challenges that families face now is negative masculinity. I think why I was attracted to you, I was watching you talk about girls picking up the male character.
Yes.
We now see the abuses we were trying to take away from men, boys and girls are
Yes,
doing it now.
It's like
And,
with-
and so it's like leaving one and chasing the 99.
Yes. So about that, I want to say that there are some girls who actually came out from families where violence is the order of the day,
Okay.
just as we're talking about. They have become so violent in a way that any dispute is being settled with violence. No matter how much you tell them, no matter how much you struggle for them to stay away from violence, and they will intoxicate other girls with violence. This matter will settle down, and we are settling it with fight. I've seen group of girls ganging up against other group, and they are fighting. And unfortunately, it's even happening in schools. I will not call the names of the schools for the sake of peace. Even the Bible says that we should pursue peace. So in the course of pursuing peace, we will not call the names of the schools. Children leave other schools to go and gang fight.
Other schools.
Gang fight in other schools. And they even hide in small roads and attack
That's
some
awesome.
girls.
Wow.
So this thing is raging on our society. It's becoming the order of the day. These are things where parents should not give into.
Okay.
When your child is leaving home, it is your responsibility
Caution.
as a parent to caution your child and check your children's school bags. Children go to school with knives,
Yes.
with razor blades. They go with weapons because they are already ready. They know that we have a fight today, and they get ready for a fight. Children even fight teachers. We have seen cases of today where children are even killing teachers. They are even harming teachers because of our roles as parents. We leave them. What is that kind of parenting again? Laissez-faire parenting.
Yes, uninvolved.
Uninvolved.
Or permissive.
I would like to call it laissez-faire
Laissez-faire.
parenting.
Yes.
As a parent, we have to be involved in our child's everyday activity.
Yes.
If it comes to the level where you are suspecting this your child, please search the child's bag. I've searched my children's bag and I saw t-shirts. They go and change in school. What are you doing with a t-shirt? What they are supposed to wear inside is a vest, not a t-shirt. If you are taking a t-shirt,
have
it
an
means you want to go and
agenda.
change
Yeah, it's a
somewhere.
plan.
Either to change to go and gang fight, or to change to go and gallivant in another quarter. We should take this point very serious because children are becoming something else. If you think you know your child enough, you are just starting.
If you think
Your
you
child will
know
do something that you will reach the place and your mouth, you will see what your eyes will see what your mouth cannot talk.
I tell you the
good that-
truth. Okay, yeah.
I think
you
it's
just
good
take
that
my-
parents should sit down sometimes and write down a list of values that they're supposed to follow in the
Wow.
family, because sometimes parents actually just maybe talk about this verbally, but they have
Yes.
not set the list and written down list of how they are going to raise up their children, the values they are going to put in them, and then clearly communicating these values to the children, because if the children don't know the values, they can't actually uphold them. They only uphold the values that you have communicated to them clearly. So they should spend time, nurture the children, communicate to them the values, tell them also the importance of having these values and also the dangers of not having the values.
I'm just thinking of what we do in offices, those plaques.
Small sticks.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
like
Yes.
just
And man of God.
some
Yes,
words
ma'am.
of peace around, and then the reward system too.
Yes.
Like you can really make children to know that I'm giving you this reward because you
Yes.
have been good in
Yes.
this. You have been able
Okay.
to achieve
Yes.
some of these things.
I think we should adopt that.
It's
Yes.
something
No, of
that
course, Jesus, the Bible practice, God had to institute that.
Reward
reward system.
Yes,
Mhm.
God
Yes.
instituted the reward system where He says, the man with the talent.
Yes. Yes. The man with the talent.
Yes.
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 Mhm. The
Yes.
parable of the
Yes.
talent.
Yes.
Yes.
We are actually
Very
practicing
nice.
it, but we did not really know
No,
that
that's
it's
the
a
name.
reward system.
It's a reward system.
I remember I bought my son a bicycle for passing an exam.
Exams,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's a reward.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, man of
It
God, I
will
was coming to
encourage
something
them.
you said.
Yes, ma'am.
I was coming to something you said. This issue of watching over our children.
Yes.
I think that a very important aspect where we should be looking at is the friends our
They
children
keep.
Yeah.
Very important.
The
Yes.
friends our
Very
children
important.
keep. Do you know that you can take care of your child until one day, one girlfriend or one boyfriend for the boy and girlfriend for the girl will come right into your house
Yes.
and deliver a message from somebody
Yes,
Yes.
let me
in your house.
Yes.
Yesterday,
Yes.
So
like I
please,
said,
me and the drive all friends. Any friend that comes to my house
It's
on
good
behalf
to-
of my daughter,
It's
you
good
go.
to, it's good to
Parenting
bring
is
them.
one of the
It's good to bring the
scariest
friends.
Yes.
things these days.
It's good to bring the friends together to also study to know the ones who can allow them close to your
Let
children.
it not come for
One-
now. For now,
The way
I
I
say that
thought
there is a time
the way-
that
Yes.
because they
the way
cannot
we
even have
grew.
the mental capacity to choose friends.
the way my
Yes,
father
children-
told us that my father actually permitted the friends that I should relate with, so he chose my friends for me.
Okay, that is it.
Yes,
you
he
see
chose
this
my friends for
era.
me.
This era, me, I'm driving every Friday.
having she
Because she know my 16 now.
of course she
I
started
know.
with the way we were groomed. It's not
Yes.
the same way
Yes.
we are
Things
groomed.
have
No,
changed.
it's
Things
true.
have
Now you see, on the aspect of friends, the fact is, when you know the little hour they spend in school, so much cannot happen. But that person who comes to the house
To complete it.
to
Yes.
complete it
It's
matters.
a relay
Yes,
system.
yes.
You know that
Yes.
it's a relay
The
system.
relay system.
I adopted a system whereby the gate man have to, I was trained, by the Holy Spirit,
Man.
because I grew
Yeah.
up partly on the street.
Yes.
Wow.
So if you ask me where I got my values, I'll tell you that I had no mentor like human mentor
Yes, to
existed.
tell you. Wow.
I was trained by the Holy Spirit. She's a
Amen.
testimony to that.
Amen.
So it's obvious that there are people who has the plan to spoil right under your nose.
Knows. True.
Yeah.
True.
There are children they will send. Let me tell you, I overheard a conversation where two boys were communicating their plan, how they want to destroy someone's girl child.
Wow.
Let me tell you, if mommy to say the show for that their house. No worry.
If I catch you,
I know parents who facilitated the issue.
Wow.
to spoil another parent's
Yes,
You know-
I know.
You know,
Yes.
like me talking about
The
maybe.
hostility that is outside is something else.
Like when I
Someone
talk
said
about-
that my
like when I
children
talk
are
about-
spoiled. So it's
The
your own that's
bandwagon.
angel.
That is a
That's what I
it's
put
dangerous
down.
and
that was the summary.
That
And
is
it's true.
it. That is the one you're saying
True.
is very correct. The
You know, when we are
bandwagon
looking at
effect, nobody should stand pew.
Yes.
When we are
Everybody
looking at
bow.
it right,
How should your own house be like that?
when we are looking at it right, we're not just looking at the maybe just the dangers that they cause, but also look at the
positives.
importance also
Yes.
of maybe them relating with others can also bring. because we can say there should be maybe an age limit where we don't permit them to associate.
Yes.
When they have reached a particular age where they
Yes.
understand some of the values
That
you are
is
trying
it.
to put in them, you can now start allowing them
Now
to
that they are
relate.
still small, we are struggling.
Yes.
Let's
So
finish it.
See, yesterday in my house, Madam Akuma, this is what I
Mommy
did.
is so funny.
This is what I did. I sat one of my neighbor's child who is so close to my son. Then I tell her, I say, Bo, you are all right in GCE. I want to tell you how people who write GCE behave, who also are writing GCE behave.
Okay.
Then I opened the book. Then I explained to them my life. Then I brought the today. Then I brought them their future. Then I said, if I allow you close to my son, it is because you both are seeking GCE.
That is
So
common ground.
if at any moment I observe that out there you are not doing what you have to do, then be rest assured. Say your friend will my picking, it is just talking.
Yes.
You know, force me.
Definitely.
No, you know, force me.
Because this is my own future through my kids.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, you understand.
I think if
I am
people
talking
understand
about- yes.
the
Investing in the children.
themselves
Yes.
in
At
their
one
children.
At one
then
point within my immediate neighbors, I'll be organize a program. Then I tell them, say, let us discuss on collective security on our children.
Children,
Wow. I like that.
Yes, I discuss with my neighbors on collective security.
Wow.
Most often when we have the opportunity to come together, I bring up collective security.
Wow.
And I explain to them what is this
I'm
collective
implementing
security.
that.
Yes. This is what you have to observe. This is what you have to observe. You should know that this is what you need to do. And be rest assured that if you permit this, because if you don't bring up issues of collective security,
Yeah.
you will not survive it.
True.
Alone,
Because-
your children.
Because some of us grew up seeing that only the neighbors, I'll put it the way it is, I'll take my own sibling. He impregnated a fellow neighbor's child. They were all, you know,
So rampant.
children.
So rampant.
And that is the basis of, you know, violence among neighbors.
Yes.
You know, some man will tell you, say, better mean, some man for some side can't do this. No, mean, you are no one. You are no.
Well, this is
Family.
Atu Brutus.
Good. Yes. Yes. So
Not you.
it is yes. So it is important. Otherwise, so why you are hoping that this child go feel learn from this Peking? So one day they will, if they don't want to learn, cut the ties.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Because there are children who are bent to destroy. Let me tell you,
That's all.
children who take drugs, recruits,
Yes.
and don't forget, they are now the apostles of the evil kingdom.
Of course, peer counselors can be both positive
Yes,
and negative.
They are the apostles of the evil kingdom.
Even in adulthood, to you people, there are some
Yes.
men that say,
Even
okay,
now,
Yes.
they are
even
the
women,
apostles.
we have women who recruit other wives to
Yes.
say, you're
Yes.
having a good marriage. So,
I mean,
you
They
come and
want to
have
destroy the
somebody.
marriage, yes.
So no go put me for that level because I know them there. Yeah.
Now we remember
That's
we
very
are
strange,
talking
yeah.
about sustainable practices in parenting and the ideal way on this great platform today, Tuesday the 18th of March. I say beware the 8th of March. I think that it's a must have